Okay. Hello. Today I'm gonna, well, first of all, who all here has boats? Show of hands. How many of those boats are jets? Jet drive. How many have jet skis? Okay. Today I'm going to talk about how to do a PM on a jet boat to gap the liner to the impeller and all that. Now, I've had an outboard jet for 10 years now, and I've had to do the preventative maintenance on it. And I'm going to specifically talk about that, but it can also be used in the inboard and jet skis or in irrigation boats, the same principle. So to get started, you need to tilt the motor up so you can get it in to where you can work on it. And then you're going to want to take the foot off, which has 6 nuts that hold it together up into place. And then that's going to get to the impeller exposed. And when you get the impeller exposed, you want to bend the lock nut or the lock washer tabs out. That's what keeps the nut from turning. And then pull it out. And you want to make sure that when you do that, there's a bunch of little shims that are on the bottom side that you don't lose any because they got to go back in the same spot. Okay, so once you got it out, you want to decide whether you have a steel impeller or an aluminum impeller. Mine's aluminum. See how it's all nicked up? You got to file it down. And you only file this leading edge. You never file the bottom edge of it because it will create turbulence. It's very bad. You want to keep a 3/16 gap. You don't want to make it sharp. Basically, just take the file and just follow the burrs on. On a steel impeller, you won't be able to file it. They're too hard. You'd have to take it in, have it welded or fixed, or replace it. So after you get that done, you want to check up in the bell and the output nozzle, make sure there's no rocks or debris in there. Pop them out if they're in there. And then you can put the impeller back up into place and make sure you get the shims on the bottom and the top the way they were, and put the nut up snug. Don't tighten up the tab yet because you got to gap the impeller to the liner. So once it's back up in place, this liner actually comes off the foot. There are other styles that bolt to the foot, so you have to put it up in there and pull it and then gap it. Well, when you gap it, this is up in the motor. You see how it's cone shaped? The farther it drives down, the closer it gets to your liner. You take a 30 thousandths feeler gauge and run it there. If it's too thick, you take a shim, you take this all back off, take a shim off the bottom, put it on the top, and it'll drive it on closer. Steel impeller is 15 thousandths. They run it tighter. Okay, once you got that done, you want to check the foot. See how this one's pretty trashed. These grate bars, if they're broken, you got to replace them. You just drive these pins out. It's tapered, so you have to go from the small end and hammer and punch and just drive them out, pull these out, replace them if you need, or these aren't that bad. You just take them out and get a flat surface and bend it all back in shape and put it back together. Then put the foot back on. You're ready for shallow water again. But Because I had to just do this on my own because I didn't have money, and plus it takes a lot of time to put it in the shop and it's down for a long time. So I went on the internet and asked around to figure out how to do it. One of the writings is actually Chris Gorshek. He wrote a thing in a magazine called The 30-Minute PM on February 2004. And in there he says that preventive maintenance is an important part of keeping your jet rig in peak operation all season long. Also, ask Ray Silva down at Meadow Ring Incorporated, how often should you do a PM on a pump? Basically, he says every year for boats and jet skis that are in deep water because they don't get very much debris, and every time you suck rocks or sand when you're running shallow water, you should do it. So today I've informed you on how to do PM on a water pump. So now you have the basic understanding of it. Maybe you can tackle it yourself, or at least know what they're doing when you take it to the shop and doing a PM on your jet pump. Thanks.